Good afternoon, Marcia McLuhan. Okay, thank you everyone for your attention. We gathered here this afternoon to formally acknowledge and celebrate the great success of our school's Advent charitable campaign that we called Take Heart. In the Advent season, we centered our giving to support an incredible organization that works tirelessly to improve the lives of children in developing countries. And that organization is called Sleeping Children Around the World. Sleeping Children provides bed kits containing basic necessities, including a mattress, school uniforms, and supplies. Every $35 purchases a bed kit, and this in turn saves a child's life. The McLuhan community worked together to raise an astounding $1,420 for this initiative. Very proud. We're extremely proud of how you opened your wallets and your hearts to helping children in need. Thank you to all the staff and students of this beautiful community for responding so generously to this campaign. We definitely took heart, and in Jesus' words, "For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me." So in a very special way, I would like to thank the hard work of our peer ministry students. Your passion for this charitable project was inspiring and courageous. You persuaded us to give by repeatedly visiting our classes and reminding us of the children in need. You organized bake sales and even had us don pajamas to raise funds. That was a good day. We saw the bears blanketing the office windows and were very touched by the giving. A very special thank you as well to our leader, Mrs. Nitso, our chaplain, for coordinating this campaign and for the invaluable assistance of one of our CYWs, Ms. Owen. I now would like to invite to the podium two members of our peer ministry team. They are Shayla Renteria and Ryan Pereira.
Hello everyone. As Mrs. Cangelosi said, we are very proud of how McLuhan raised an incredible amount of $15,420 for sleeping children around the world. That impressive dollar amount translates to 440 bed kits. That means that 440 children in our so-called global village will now have a mattress to sleep on instead of lying on the cold ground. That means that 440 children will now be able to go to school because they have school uniforms and supplies. That means that 440 children will now be safe from the deadly disease, malaria, because they will be receiving mosquito nets. We asked you to give so that children could know the gift of safe and comfortable sleep. We told you that we wouldn't sleep until they did, and you amazed us with your response. On behalf of all of us in peer ministry, thank you for giving the way you did. Where does charity live? It definitely lives right here in McLuhan.
Whether you donated $5 or $500, you opened up your hearts to help others in need. Our two top student donors raised an incredible $630 between them. That's 18 bed kits. That's 18 children whose lives will be dramatically improved because of their kindness. I now call upon them to share with us why they decided to give so generously to our campaign. Please welcome grade 12 students Amanda Arcuri and Dave Repetacoto.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dave, and I'm only one piece of the McLuhan charity story. I decided to buy 8 bed kits. I didn't think twice to give to sleeping children around the world because I knew that 100% of my money would go to the kids in need. This charity hit home with me. While this whole campaign took place at our school, it made me remember something difficult I experienced in my own life, which influenced me to do my part to help. You see, when I was about 7 years old, in the Philippines, I lost a friend to malaria. I watched him pass away, and the memory haunts me still. I was a child back then, and I was very overwhelmed as everyone started to panic. I decided to walk away from that room on that dark day and cried because I couldn't do anything to save my friend. At such a young age, I couldn't even imagine a child like him go through such a bad experience. Until this day, I still feel heartbroken when I think of this. And this is why I always felt uncomfortable sharing this story with others, since I knew it would bring tears to my eyes. I bought 8 bed kits because this was a way of honoring my childhood friend. I couldn't save him, but I could save 8 today with my gift. We are truly fortunate to have so much. I have a bed to sleep in, and my life isn't threatened by diseases such as malaria. With my donation, 8 kids were able to receive the gift of safe and comfortable sleep and be protected from dying from the disease that claimed my friend. I feel good knowing I did my part to help. I also feel proud to be part of the community of Marshall McLuhan that was able to do so much for this organization. We may not be the richest school in Toronto, but I know that we are richest in spirit. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amanda, and I'm part of the peer ministry class. As some of you may know, I decided to donate 10 bed kits. Some people have asked me, why have you donated so much? And initially, response to this persistent question. But after giving it some real thought, I finally understood why. Allow me to share this with you. First things first, Mr. Grant Clark, an inspiring volunteer from Sleeping Children Around the World, visited our class at the start of this campaign and educated us about those less fortunate. Grant made us understand what bed kits could do for those children. His stories opened my eyes to the realities that those children face daily. I was moved. I listened, not just with my ears, but with my heart. Second, when I shared with my parents the details of the campaign, my dad informed me that my own grandmother contracted malaria in Italy when she was only 8 years old. I was struck with the reality that my grandmother was able to receive treatment and live, while so many today die from this very preventable disease. I could help save children with my donation, and in honor of my grandmother, I was inspired to give as much as I could. Third, I have never seen such willingness to give in a long time. I saw so much caring hearts all around me and knew I had to do my part to help. To see the passion and compassion of people like Miss Izzo, Miss Lampe, Mr. Clark, Sergeant Jim Brown, and Dave, it really touched my heart. Dave's story makes me emotional even hearing it again now. No child should ever have to witness the death of a friend, especially not to a preventable disease. Dave's story affected me so deeply that I decided to give him the prize I received for being the top donor. It is now my honor to call forward the first of 3 special guests. This gentleman has visited McLuhan on several occasions and is a huge supporter of sleeping children around the world. He and his family organize a fundraiser for this organization every year. He has given his time and energy to support us in our own fundraising efforts. Please welcome Sergeant Jim Brown from the Toronto Police Force.
Wow. Those two are very tough acts to follow. I am humbled to be here. We talk about partnership and working in partnership with the police, and Robert Peel introduced these policing principles to us. But this was truly working in partnership. Students working with students, students working with the staff, students working with the Toronto Police, students working with sleeping children around the world. You guys have grown up immensely just from partaking in this event. When Grant and I first came to your school, it was October 18th. But let me rewind. What I find with this organization is that when you get involved, it's like 6 degrees of separation. I met Miss Alampi through her children, because when I worked at 13 Division as the Community Response Sergeant, I met Nick and Carmela from Walking the Beat. I told them about sleeping children and they jumped on board. They then came to my charity events. As explained, we do charity events each year for sleeping children, but they came to my charity events, hence Carmela brought her mother. You know, Miss Alampi came in 2013. And she was so overwhelmed by the event, she contacted me and asked, what can we do to help? Hence Grant Clark. I think I told you before, my wife's a school teacher. Well, Lisa, my wife, became involved with sleeping children around the world because her principal was involved with sleeping children. And she thought this is something that we need to get involved in. So this is how we met Grant Clark. So Grant Clark then came along with me in October to meet your staff. Your staff here are fantastic. And I can see you are a reflection of your staff because you have their energy and you have their passion. And I can tell that you will take that energy and passion, and whatever you do when you leave here. I said to you before, when I was here for the presentation, Kids get a tough rap these days as far as people say kids are selfish, they only think about themselves. Well, I told you before and I'm going to tell you again, you've shot down that myth. All of you took an active interest in something that was larger than you. You took an active interest in the fact that there are children who are not as fortunate as we are. And through your passion and through your commitment, you were able to make this happen. 440 kids, that's a village, okay? You've given 440 kids something that money can't buy. You've given them hope. And through your actions, now these children are going to get an education. And that's better than a toy. That's better than anything that they can get, okay? Because they're now going to have a chance to make a difference. Now you've made a difference. Now let me tell you, I see a lot of happy faces and a lot of proud faces. I know by the effort that you've given that it's not going to end here. Because once you get a taste of that, you want to keep doing this. And I know that when you leave here and when you go on to your adult lives, because you've been touched by this, that you'll be more sensitive to people needing help. You guys have really come of age, and I've got to tell you, I'm so impressed. So on behalf of the Toronto Police Service, guys, thank you very much for working with us. God bless you.
Thank you, Sergeant Brown, for being with us today and modeling charity and kindness. You personify goodness. Please know you're always welcome here. And now, please welcome back to McLuhan, a man who has become a very familiar face to us, especially in peer ministry. Mr. Grant Clark is no stranger to a school environment as he's dedicated nearly 40 years in education, 24 as an elementary school principal. In his rewarding career, Grant loved working with young people like us. He is now retired, but devotes a lot of his time and energy to sleeping children around the world. He has provided us with so much inspiration and education for this campaign. Please welcome Mr. Clark.
Well, thank you so much. You have taught me so much. I've always said, thank you. I've always said that I always get a lot more back than I give. I want to thank you. I just want to briefly, and I really mean that sincerely, briefly refer to a mission statement you have here. It reads like this: we are people of faith. I know that to be true. I can't see it, but I've felt it in your school. Anchored in hope. I've seen lots of that. It's amazing. With hearts of charity. Just look at the bears posted on the windows by the office. The next time you visit your mission statement, I'm going to ask you to consider adding one more line. After with hearts of charity. I would feel honored if you consider adding nurtured in love. Because that's really what I've learned about you. And here's the good news. The 440 bed kits, with your love, will find their way to children in great need in the Philippines. Secondly, I've instructed the lady who manages our house, where all the work is done for sleeping children, to have all of the bed kits distributed on one day. It will be a Marshall McLuhan Day. I will also let your school know when that distribution will occur, and I hope that you will take the time to log into our website, because each day there will be pictures and reports of the team's work, and you will see exactly what happens on your day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
For being here and for being such a great role model. You told us that a cup filled with love cannot ever be empty. Thank you for teaching us about compassion in such a memorable way. And now, it is my honor to introduce to you our final guest here today. Mr. Dryden is the director of Sleeping Children Around the World. He continues the work that his father, Murray Dryden, began in 1970 with the support of his siblings, Ken and Judy. Mr. Dryden has traveled to many countries for bed-kit distributions, including India, Uganda, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines. Mr. Dryden has worked as an elementary school teacher, principal, World Hockey Association player, NHL goalie for Chicago, Buffalo, and Edmonton, as well as NHL consultant on equipment and injuries. Talk about an impressive resume over here. Okay. We are very happy to welcome a man who not only is a hockey legend, but also a legend in his charity work. A very warm McLuhan welcome to Mr. Dave Dryden.
So this is Marshall McLuhan School. I'll tell you, I have been waiting for this moment because this guy over here, Grant Clark, the last 3 months, every time I see him, it's I got a story to tell you about what's happening at Marshall McLuhan. You wouldn't believe what they're doing. Well, I've heard it, and I've heard it, and I've heard it. And Grant is a very enthusiastic guy, but I just am so pleased to be here to see what you have accomplished here. I mean, this is amazing what has been done in this school. And it's absolutely inspiring. You inspired Grant. Grant inspired us as sleeping children. I would suggest that students, what you have done has inspired your staff, it's inspired your families, it's inspired your community. And that is absolutely huge. So I want to thank you for being an inspiration. Grant talked about the motto that is written on your stationery and whatnot, and the whole business of faith and hope and charity and peace. It's easy to say that stuff. I mean, it's just stuff, it's just words. But honestly, what I've seen happen here means that it's not just words to you students. You know, you are walking the talk. It's not just words. And I congratulate you for walking the talk about your values. I think you've learned something. I think many of you have learned it before as well. As we grow up, we hear the phrase, there's joy in giving. And when we're young kids, we sort of say, yeah, but it's more fun to get than it is to give. But I think you now get it. I think you get the fact that there is a real joy in giving. And it was shown by your school here, all the different things that you did, all the fun that you had. My hope is that you remember this, so that when you get to be the age of Mr. Clark and I, you can look back on your life and say, geez, yes. When I was told that doing stuff for others looked good on my resume, and I'm sure you've heard that, that's not the important thing. It's what you've done that feels good in here. So I congratulate you very much on understanding the joy that there is in giving. Lastly, when I look out here, and Grant may have said this to you, I think you've got about 1,000 students here. There are days on a distribution where when we come in to the distribution site, there is this many kids sitting there, just exactly like this. In fact, in some of the places in India where I have been, the floor is all squares, and you've got a kid sitting in each square. And you've got 1,000 children there that you're going to be handing out bed kits to. And I'm always amazed that it works. You look out into their eyes, the kids' eyes, and you see hope. Like you really can see it. You look and you say, what's that look in their eye? And it's a look of hope. And I'll tell you, that is the most wonderful thing to read in a child's eyes, is hope. As I look out here into your eyes, I think I see a lot of hope out there too. The future is bright for you, and I hope you keep that joy of giving in your heart. Thank you, students, staff, thank you for what you have done on this. It doesn't happen without the support you've given. peer ministry, an absolutely awesome job. And yes. And the neat thing to think of, Grant mentioned something. In April, our team goes to the Philippines on the 11th. They will be giving out about 440 bed kits on a specific day. 440 kids is just about this many here. And somebody will be handing each child a bed kit and looking them in the eye and saying, "It's yours," and smiling. And you can't believe the wonderful feeling that there is to be that person giving out the bed kit. So thank you for giving sleeping children the opportunity to do that on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dryden, for joining us today. We are truly honored to welcome you here. I now call upon Amanda and Dave to present you with our check for $15,420. We know you and the good people at Sleeping Children around the world will ensure our donation improves the lives of children. Winston Churchill said that you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. Thank you for showing us that giving is important and rewarding and necessary. We are inspired.
Thank you all for being here today. This assembly is now over. Please return to your period 4 classes. Thank you.
Bye, guys.